Good morning. How you doing today? I don't know about you, but it is raining like crazy pants out there. I wouldn't even be surprised if you could hear it on the video. So the holidays are here for some and coming for others, right? And there's a lot of stuff going on. But I want to talk a little bit about boundaries in the next little while. It's been a big, hot topic in my coaching group, so I thought I'd bring it out into the real world, so to speak. And there's one thing I want to talk about, and that's the choosing. So a lot of the times when we talk about boundaries, we talk about us setting boundaries for other people, which is true. But we also have something called self-boundaries. So things that we sort of make rules for ourselves about what is okay and what isn't okay and how we're going to treat ourselves and other people. And I invite you to explore those. Those get real fascinating real fast. But one of the things that was brought up in one of my groups, which has just been kind of ruminating in the back of my head for a while, and I wondered how many other people are thinking about this or struggling with this, especially when it comes to the holidays. Now, this year, a lot of them, of course, are going to be virtual, but that doesn't change this issue all that much. So the issue is, what do you do about people you're just not feeling anymore? You're just not connected to anymore. And there's nothing wrong with, how can I say this? There's nothing wrong with that happening. It does. As you grow, people around you have two choices. They can either grow with you or they can grow apart from you. Now, that doesn't make them a bad person. And what I've noticed is there's this tendency that many of us humans have to feel the need to make someone else a villain in our story in order to move on and let go of them. Does that sound familiar to any of you? You've got to find out what's wrong. Same with, breaking up with someone you're dating, or even a friendship, a job even. We have a hard time saying, I like it, it's just not for me. We really do. And marketers love this. They get us to buy a lot of stuff that way. Did you know that? But we don't need to buy our relationships. So let's think about what's going on. What that does is that absolves you of feeling bad about letting go of the relationship. And in addition to that, we don't have to necessarily end a relationship. We have to let it evolve and change. And that may mean less time spent together, not hanging out together anymore. And here's how I likened it, which I kind of like this metaphor. So I have a habit of talking about spirituality and personal empowerment as paths up a mountain, right? We're all trying to get to the top being, enlightenment, more connection, whatever it is for you. Some of us, it would be heaven. But at the top of the mountain, it's a pinnacle, right? That's where we're headed. But there's many, many paths up a mountain. And so in talking about relationships that we've outgrown or just no longer connect for us, I talk about meeting a traveler along your path. And maybe for a while you travel parallel paths. And maybe you even help each other up over a chasm or through a rough bit of terrain, or you help each other cross that raging river. But at some point, one of you is going to say, let's go left. And the other is saying, nope, pretty sure I got to go right. That doesn't make them a bad person. It just means their path is different from yours. You may even find some people say, well, you know what? This little plateau here, it's perfect. This is where I want to stay for the rest of my life. And you might be looking around going, but I can see the path. I know there's more for me up there. And they're saying, no, stay here. stay here. We can set up a little cabin and raise a few things. They want to stay put. They're content where they are. Nothing is pushing them forward. Whereas for you, you're being pushed forward down the path. You have a choice. You have a choice every single time. You can deviate from your path and follow theirs, in which case you won't be that happy, right? And it may even lead to resentment and issues, or you can bless them, thank them for their part in your story up till now, and keep moving. That doesn't mean if you see them again, you wouldn't welcome them. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't, send back word that there's more ahead. But you can't make other people's choices for them. You can only make your choices for yourself. And so at holiday time, quite a few of us start feeling that guilt because it's the time when we spend time and attention with people that we care about. And we can care about people, but not necessarily have a tight relationship with them anymore. And that's okay. It's a normal part of our evolution. And you're going to see this more and more as you develop yourself and you step into your brilliance and you start working on your own personal empowerment and your self-care, and your self-love, that there are going to be people who get real uncomfortable with that because they're not ready for change and they see you changing and they don't want to come with you. They don't want to walk that path with you. That's okay. Bless them, thank them, let it go. You don't have to make people a villain in your story in order to let them go and move on. It doesn't have to be that way. So I invite you to really consider, where have you done that before in your life? And I'm as guilty as anyone. I absolutely learned that pattern ages ago, and I practiced that pattern quite a bit, quite often, instead of just acknowledging that it wasn't for me. Perhaps I had friends who started doing things that were not in congruence with who I wanted to be. That doesn't make them a bad person necessarily. Maybe they were. I don't know. It's not for me to judge, but I knew they weren't for me. And so I moved on. So I invite you to do that. Let me know below. Have you ever, maybe looked for reasons to explain why you were letting a relationship go instead of just letting it go, knowing that that was the best thing for all involved, including yourself, or at least for yourself? Have you ever done that? Give me a yes or a no in the comments below, because I think we have all done it. So let me know if I'm right. And one more thing, I just want to ask you, if you have thoughts or questions around boundaries or spiritual development or empowerment or any of those things that I tend to talk about here, let me know. Let me know what they are. You can DM them or you can put them in the comments. I will come back and read them. And I'd love to address them in further conversations. And so I hope to see you again soon. I try to drop a video every morning around this time. And let me know how things are going for you. And I will talk to you really soon. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Mwah. Bye for now.